Welcome to your ultimate pit stop, Piston Pundit, where we delve into the nitty-gritty of the automotive world. Today we're going to debunk some myths about electric vehicles. You've probably heard the term zero-emission vehicle thrown around a lot, right? And how EVs are the green knights in shining armor, ready to combat global warming and save our planet. Well, it's time to pump the brakes on that narrative because the reality is a bit more complex. Here are 6 reasons why EVs might not be as eco-friendly as you think. Reason number 6, the CO2 Conundrum. EV advocates often tout the zero CO2 emissions as a key benefit. But let's shift gears and consider other pollutants. The truth is, EVs aren't as green as they're often painted to be. To power an EV, you need batteries made from chemical elements like lithium, cobalt, and graphite. These elements are buried deep within the earth and their extraction is far from clean. For instance, mining lithium generates 75 tons of acid waste per ton of lithium and requires 500,000 gallons of water per metric ton. This process also releases toxins that can contaminate water and soil. Consider the environmental impact in developing countries where these elements are often mined. The images of these mines resemble alien landscapes, with biodiversity loss, air contamination, and water depletion being common side effects. Moreover, these deposits often contain radioactive substances. So, is CO2 really the only pollutant we should be measuring? Reason number 5, the manufacturing maze. Even if we set aside the issue of battery production materials and focus solely on CO2, the picture isn't as rosy as some would have you believe. Just like their internal combustion engine, ICE counterparts, EVs require energy to be manufactured. So, those tales of a minimal carbon footprint? They're not entirely accurate. Firstly, consider the colossal machines that mine battery production materials. Do you think they're powered by batteries or some sustainable energy source? Nope, they run on fossil fuels, and they consume a lot of it. Then there's the transportation of materials. And finally, the production process itself. Producing EVs, especially the batteries that are their heart and soul, requires a significant amount of energy. With the demand for EVs skyrocketing, the result is a substantial carbon footprint. In fact, before they even leave the factory, electric cars have already caused more environmental damage than conventional ICE cars. Some research suggests that a typical gasoline car would need to clock in around 100,000 miles just to match an EV's carbon footprint. Now, isn't that a sobering thought? Reason number 4, the power paradox. EVs start with a larger carbon footprint, so gas-powered cars need to cover significant mileage to catch up. This is because EVs need power for daily battery charging, and most of this power isn't clean. Only 39% of the world's energy is clean, with the rest coming from carbon-emitting power plants. This means most of the energy stored in batteries is coal-derived. Consequently, EVs do emit carbon dioxide, estimated at around 100 grams per mile driven. That's about 11 tons per 100,000 miles driven, compared to 35 tons for a gas-powered car. So, while EVs emit less, they're not zero-emission vehicles. As the EV market grows, more power will be needed. Whether this will come from sustainable sources or increased use of fossil fuels is uncertain, but we're likely years, if not decades, away from sourcing most power from sustainable sources. Before we delve deeper, do us a favor and smash that like and subscribe button. This helps us reach more auto enthusiasts just like you. Now let's shift gears and steer towards our next point. Reason number 3, the hidden pollutants, tires and brakes. Pollution isn't solely about exhaust emissions. Tires and brakes are also significant contributors, regardless of whether you're driving an electric or gas vehicle. As tires wear down, they release tiny particles from friction. Surprisingly, these particles pose a greater health risk than exhaust emissions, potentially up to 1,000 times more harmful. Many of these particles, such as dibenzopyrenes, are carcinogens that can harm our lungs and aquatic life. Brakes are no different. When used, they wear down pads and discs, releasing particles that account for 20% of total traffic pollution, according to the Air Quality Expert Group. Here's the kicker. Electric cars with their large underfloor batteries are significantly heavier than internal combustion cars. This leads to quicker tire wear and more pollution from these specific particles. Consequently, EVs would use more tires over their lifespan, contributing to CO2 emissions due to increased tire production. In terms of brakes, the additional weight of EVs is somewhat offset by the one-pedal driving function. However, we'll need more research to fully understand the benefits of this advanced system. Reason number 2. The battery conundrum. Let's shift gears and talk about batteries, arguably the most contentious part of electric vehicles. As we've discussed, batteries are primarily made from chemical elements, predominantly lithium. The issue with these elements is twofold. Not only is their mining and extraction problematic, but so is their disposal. Take lithium-ion batteries, the most common type used in electric vehicles. These batteries pose a significant environmental threat in terms of toxic emissions, excess waste, and potential water contamination. Despite the buzz around battery recycling, the reality is less than stellar. Estimates suggest that recycling rates are a mere 5% in the United States, compared to 99% for lead-acid batteries. We've heard numerous suggestions for recycling these batteries. Some propose refurbishing, others suggest repurposing as portable vehicle chargers. Batteries contain a wealth of precious metals and other elements that can be recovered. However, even this approach requires large amounts of water and leads to additional air pollutant emissions. Meanwhile, most batteries are treated like common trash, causing significant environmental harm. Reason number 1. The other polluters. As you can see, there's no way electric cars can be considered zero-emission vehicles. Even if they become eco-friendly in the future, that won't solve the global warming issue. Passenger cars are far from being the world's biggest polluters. When it comes to CO2 emissions, total transportation, which includes cars, buses, planes, ships, and trains, accounts for around 15%. Passenger cars alone contribute just 7% of total carbon emissions. There are far more problematic sectors, starting with electricity and heat production. As we've mentioned, these sectors still largely rely on coal, natural gas, and oil, contributing 23% of global CO2 emissions. Industry also accounts for a 23% share, while agriculture, forestry, and other land use contribute around 22% of total CO2 emissions. Somehow, ICE cars have been singled out as the biggest problem, and it seems that governments worldwide aren't paying as much attention to other problematic sectors. Currently, all eyes are on the automotive industry, and customers are expected to bear the brunt of the cost, paying much higher prices for electric vehicles than they would for ICE cars. That's simply not fair. Thank you for joining us on this journey today at Piston Pundit. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel to stay updated on the latest vehicle trends and insights. Until then, keep your engines revving.